So this is Architects of the West Kingdom. I've set it up hopefully to do a little bit of a rules teach. You'll notice there are some expansions used, and I've got the Tome Saga set up. Hopefully this will help everyone for Sunday. So to begin with, as I say, I have done setup. A few points to mention when doing it. With the Tome Saga, you will need to use the non-variable side. So this is the variable setup with a black background. With anyone choosing, they need to use the basic one. We will require an apprentice for everyone gets chosen at the start of the game, but you don't need to know about the ones I've chosen just for examples. When you do that, you will refill the board. So, and if you do choose it, if it does have an instant increase or decrease of virtue, you will need to do that. So as you can see here, where you start on 7, because of the apprentice, the orange has started on 8. I've got this set up for a 2-player game, as in looks. However, of course, this will be 4-player, hopefully, if all the slots do get filled. Some things may look slightly different up here. There will be imagery for this, and then this on the Guildhall. This is very specifically to do with this expansion. If you're not using any expansions, you don't have to worry about that. I will try and leave them until the end, so if you do wish to use just the base game, you can just click off this video between now and then. Okay, so I'm not going to go over setup because I will talk about that through during the actual setup when we play on Sunday. I'm going to go straight into gameplay for those that don't know. So this is a game all about getting points, and points are denoted by anything that has this yellow banner on the side there. So on the player board, you can see that at the end of the game, you will be getting points for your buildings, which are there. The cathedral, which is over here. You can see there are some points up the side there. Your virtue, which is this one here. So if you go up there, you can gain virtue. However, if you lose virtue, which I'll go over in a bit, you can actually get minus points. You will eventually get these black debt cards. That's these cards up here, which when you gain them, you will have -2 points. If ever you get the opportunity to flip them, you will gain virtue, which obviously could get you more points, but yeah, they are ways to get you minus points. Also at the end of the game, there are 2 resources, marble and gold. They will get you 1 point. For every 10 coins, you get 1 point. And for every 2 workers that you have in prison, which is this area over here, you will get -1 point. And then at the end of the game, whoever has the most points wins. So the main thing you will be doing in this game is using your workers. Everyone starts off with 20 of these basic workers. Ignore this big one for now. This is from one of the expansions. But you will have 20 workers to use on your turn. And on your turn, you will be taking 1 worker, placing it somewhere on the board, doing what it does, passes to the next person. And that will happen all the way up until the end of the game, which is when this over here is filled up, depending as much as your player count. You can see if I go in, you've got 3 for 3 players, 4 players, or 5 players. So what are you doing on your turn? So as I say, you are taking one of these and placing them somewhere. I will go through each thing, each space, and what does it mean, and what you'll do with it. So, beginning with the silversmith, ignore this guy, expansion. When you put a worker on there, you will take this action. So what this is denoting is you are going to be taking 1 silver coin plus 1 per worker that is there. So in this case, with 1 orange worker, I will get 2 coins. 2 coins from the supply. There you go. Easy. If in subsequent turns, I already had, say, a couple on there, and I put a third one. At this point, I'm getting the 1 for the basic, and then 1, 2, 3 for this. So I will get 4 coins. This is one of the main aspects of the game, is bunching up your workers in places to improve the efficiency of your action. So that's the silversmith. The forest and the quarry are essentially the same, just with the different resources. So once again, I'm going to say we've already done this and we've got 2. We're about to put my second one on there. 1 wood per person. So if this was a turn that was on there, I would go for this and I would get 2 wood. Same for the quarry. 2 stone. The mines, slightly different. A little bit like the silversmith, you would get 1 clay and then 1 per worker. So in this case, I would get 1, 2, 3 clay. From there. However, in the mines, you can choose to get one of the more rarer resources. So this would be gold. So if you were to just put 1 worker there, you would get nothing for it. However, if you put a second worker on there, because it says shows there per 2 workers, in this case I would be allowed to get 1 gold. And that is the basic resource gathering. Going over to what's called the King's Storehouse. Over here, you can take 1 action per worker here. So I'm going to keep using 2. What this is essentially saying is this is your trading route to get certain things. For each worker that you have on here, you can hand in any combination of stone, wood, or clay to receive, to go up once on the virtue track. So in this case, I've done that and I've paid in 2 clay. I'll be able to push this up by 1. The other thing you can do on here is you can trade in up for a combination of 3 stone and wood in order to receive 1 marble. Marble is a very rare resource, hence why you will receive money for any spare, points for any spare at the end of the game. But as I say, you can do that as many times as you have resources and workers on the board. The tax stand, very fun space. There's no point in having multiple people on there. So when you put a worker on there, any money that will be on there at the time, this will go up, you take it. However, taking money from the taxman is not a very virtuous thing to do. So as you can see on here, it does have 2 virtue markers with a slash through them. That would mean losing virtue. Therefore, I would go down by 2, getting perilously close to the minus points. Lovely. So, you also have the town centre. When you go to the town centre, This one will require a bit of setup from me, so bear with. So, firstly, and this does help to bring up a certain information point here, you will see that there's actually two different colours of coin on here. That isn't just a misprint, that is a very deliberate thing. Anytime you see a light brown coin, that means the cost will go to the tax stand. How that goes up. Dark brown cost, money goes back to the supply. So, just take them back. So, town centre. So I say we've only put one person on there. What this is saying is one coin will go to the tax stand, and you can round up all the workers on a single space. What that means is choose a space, probably where you've got the most of a colour of unit. You take them all and you put them within your holding area on your player board. And there is a reason for doing that, which I will go through in a moment. For any additional workers you have on here, knocking over the deck, lovely. For any additional workers that you have on here, you can pay, as you say, one coin to the supply, and you can round up another colour. If I don't have them set up, but essentially it would still have to be from the same space, so I'd rounded them up the previous lot from the forest. If there was another player in the game with blue and they were there, you'd be able to take the blues and put them over here. In a two-player game, it's slightly different, but I don't think that will make a difference for us on Sunday, so I won't go over that now. But essentially, that's what the town centre does. You pick up people. As a side note, you can choose your own workers. It doesn't just have to be opponents. If you do, they don't go into the holding area. They simply go back to your supply. Essentially, the theme behind that is that you're making a kind of citizen's arrest. Too many people are huddled up together from the opposition, and you don't like what they're getting up to. So that is the town centre. The workshop, just like the black meeple, please ignore the white one, that's for the expansion. With the workshop, you've got two actions that you can take here. Firstly, the top one, you'll notice again, the two different colours. So 2 money to the tax stand and 2 money to the supply to draw 1 apprentice card, which now seems like a good time to go over what they are, what they look like, and what does all the information mean on them. So, firstly, depending on how many workers you have here, the further across you can go. As denoted by in the middle of the board, you'll be able to see 1, 2, 3, 4. On my map, there's 5. In the base game, there's only the 4. So, for example, in this one, I would be allowed to take any from up to this column. Simply take the card, take the apprentice, and put it there. And now I have that apprentice to be able to work with. If I had 1 worker, however, I really, really wanted this apprentice, you can do it without having to waste a few turns putting more workers up there. What you do, and it's a classic